So, hello again. Right, as you probably know, we often have flour up the food chair. So I'm going to do another recipe trying to help save this flour from food waste. So today I'm going to demonstrate how to make wheat flour tortillas. And the reason for that is because, like I said before, when we did the refried beans, it might be quite nice to do like a few different dishes that we can kind of use together, work like they will all work together. So like we can maybe do some burritos or I don't know, empanadas, something like that. Some cowboy food, like a fusion TexMex, that kind of thing. So to that end, I'm thinking wheat flour tortillas will be quite a nice staple base. In order to make this particular recipe, and this is a recipe I got years and years ago, again from a Sainsbury's cookbook actually, it uses lard, and I'm going to use lard today, but feel free, if you don't like using animal fats, feel free to substitute the lard for oil or coconut oil or anything of your whatever you like to use at home. It really doesn't matter. And if you prefer to use wholemeal flour or wheat meal flour, crack on, like have a go and let us know how you get on. What I would say is, if you're going to use something like wheat meal flour or wholemeal flour, you might need to use more water than I'm going to be using today. So just keep that in mind, because obviously I think that those kind of flours can absorb a lot more liquid. And the thing that we're trying to accomplish today is making a nice soft wheat flour tortilla. So the chapatis that we made before, they didn't have any fat in them at all. And they really are something that you want to eat straight away as soon as you've cooked them. Obviously, these are lovely when you eat them straight away, but because they are quite soft and they have the addition of fat, hopefully that means that you can like rock them over to the next day, keep them protected tub, obviously. Anyway, without further ado, let's get down to it. So in my bowl, I've got my flour. I've got here some nice, it's a bit more than warm, so hand hot, but slightly warmer, but not too hot because you want to be using your hands. I've also got a nice teaspoon, it's what we call a scant teaspoon if you like, but just, you don't want it heaped, but a teaspoon of salt, normal kitchen salt will be fine. Sea salt, it doesn't matter, whatever salt you prefer to use. And then I've got 3 tablespoons of room temperature lard. Like I say, feel free to substitute this for any fat of your choice. So, first things first, going to be taking you back to when you was at school doing home economics or food tech or whatever it's called now, I don't know. And we're basically going to be making breadcrumbs. So this is our first step. And it's very important to get this fat incorporated completely into your flour. You want it evenly distributed. So again, if you're using oil, obviously that would probably be a little bit easier. But I'm just going to carry on turning this into what we used to call breadcrumbs, the consistency of breadcrumbs. And it takes a few minutes. Don't rush it. I think that's the thing to say about these tortillas. It's not a quick job. Quick to cook, but the preparation takes some time. If you want really good results at the end. All right. Now, if you have a look, it's pretty well incorporated. I like to give it a little sift through with my fingers, just taking those last little lumps and incorporating them into my flour. And like I say, the whole purpose for taking that time is to make sure your fat or oil, whatever you're using, is evenly distributed throughout the flour. I'm going to chuck my salt in now. Just give it one last little stir with my fingers, making sure. Right. And that should do it. Now for the water. again, this is going to depend on the environment that you're preparing your food in. So it's quite a cold, dry environment here. So I might end up using more water than you will. So I'm just going to do it a cup at a time. Let's see what happens. I'll start off with 2, because the last time I did it, I did need 2. I mean, they're not even full scoops, but just to get us going. And what we're looking for now is a nice raggy dough. We're going to We're going to make sure that all of this flour gets hydrated, so it's quite a sloppy mess to start with. So I would say I've used about 1.5 cups of warm water, quite warm water. And if you look into this, it looks like quite a sloppy mess. And that's what you want. Like I said before, you want to make sure that every grain of flour, if you like, is hydrated, because we want to get some nice soft tortillas. Now this is going to take you a while to bring this all together into a nice soft dough. Okay, so that took a bit longer than I was expecting. So clearly the other day when I did it, I needed a lot more water. Today I could have done with a bit less. So this is a good lesson, really, just to make sure. I mean, maybe put the first cup of water in, and then when I just put the other half in, I should have maybe just put a little bit in at a time. So it's taken a lot more work. However, what we have got now is this lovely soft dough. And that's really what you're going for. Okay, and the reason why we wanted to mix it for so long and we started off with a wetter dough was so that we could really get that gluten going, because that will make our little dough balls really stretchy. And the reason why we want them really stretchy is so that we can roll them out as thinly as possible. We don't really want it springing back so much. We want to be able to roll that out nice and, good size, but really thin, because we're cooking them rather quickly. So all we need to do now is do some little dough balls. I'll get these. You can see it's lovely and soft, the dough. Just get them a nice, in fact that might even be a bit big. Let's see. That's better. Take a bit off of that one. And now, because this dough has worked so hard, the gluten has worked so hard, we're going to leave it rest. You want to let it rest for at least half an hour. But if you want to leave it for 2 hours, that's fair enough. So I'm just putting them in this baking tray just to keep them contained. And then we're going to cover it in some foil, some more cling film. And then just, like I say, let it have a little rest. And if you were doing this as part of a meal, you'd probably get to this point, sit them down to rest them, and then get on with making the rest of it. So if you were going to have chili or whatever, your refried beans, now would be the time, after you're letting these rest, to go off and make that. So if you're looking for timings, that's what I would say. Okay, so when you're rolling them out, you'll probably hear it go. That's good. That means you've got some lovely air trapped in there, and that's what you want, because you want them to be able to fluff up when you're cooking them. Now, just got a little bit of fat in my hands. Just going to warm it up a little bit. And I saw a lady do this online, and I thought that's a really good idea, rather than having to try and put it on the cooker to melt it. Just rub it between my hands. Alright, and just grease the top of these. So if you're using oil, obviously feel free to either brush your cling film with your oil, or just brush the top of your balls. Right, I'm just going to cling film that. There we go then. So we're just going to let those have a little rest now, and then we'll be back to cook nothing. Right, so it's been resting a little while now, and it's time to roll them out. I'm just heating my tower or your skillet or whatever, your heavy bottom frying pan. Get it up to medium high, I guess. Like, you don't want it really, really hot so that your tortillas burn as soon as you put it on there. Don't worry too much about weird shapes either. Because sometimes you can kind of just stretch it out, because this really is a lovely, flexible, stretchy dough. So just get that all nice and warm. Oh, this is a funny old shape, isn't it? I wonder what geographical map I'm making now. Okay, so that's nicely smoking. So I just turn that down a little bit. There we go. One thing to look out for is you want your edges nice and thin as well. You don't want some doughy, thick edges. And I don't know if you can see, but like, it's very, very fine. I don't know if the light's showing through. I'm just dusting off the excess, like we did with our chapatis. It's not a very good shape, the first one. The edge. So I'm just pointing out, see where it just bubbles up straight away. Now, don't do like me. Try and get it on the middle of your skillet rather than off the edge. You can see, hopefully, that is changing colour. I hope you can see that, where the raw dough is actually becoming cooked. And if you feel it's cooking more on one side than the other, like mine is, because of the way that this cooker is shaped, my tower is not quite central on it, so the heat's not in the central place. So just move it around, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm just pressing it down because obviously I want it all to cook evenly. Because of the bubbles, that means that some of it is not in direct contact with the skillet. It definitely helps speed up the process. Right then, so the preparation, the build-up work for this takes quite a while. However, the end results are worth it, I think. See how lovely and soft these are. I mean, these have been sat there for a little while. And the thing is, as things start to bite, you know, and finances get a little bit harder, because we've gone through this 2-year period now, and I think, like, if we can do more things for ourselves, like if we can save food from going into landfill, that's a great thing. If we can stop unnecessarily wasting our resources, like for instance our wages, you know, that's a great thing, surely. So anything we can do to help ourselves over the next couple of years, because I think financially it's going to be quite tight for people. So if you can't afford to buy some wraps, or maybe the supermarkets haven't got them because they haven't had a delivery, because that's a thing that's happening as well, isn't it? You know, now you know how to make your own. So see you next time, and let me know how you get on. If you try this with wholemeal flour, I'd love to hear how you get on, because I've never made wholemeal tortillas. If you're doing them in a vegan way, with no dairy. Be interested to hear from you as well, to hear if you get the same kind of results. And like I said, maybe start off with just the 1 cup of water, because the other day I needed 2. Today I could have done with a bit less than 1.5. But just let us know how you get on, and enjoy your wheat flour tortillas. See you next week.